Now, I'm definitely not the first to do it. I've been grinding, and a couple of days ago, I ended up actually completing ranking up all of my weapons across Modern Warfare 2. And honestly, that was my sort of main goal from Modern Warfare 2's launch. I'd love to get Orion camo before Warzone 2 and DMZ's launch, but let's be honest, that's not going to happen for me. But having all my weapons ranked up, it's been a learning experience, and I want to share that with you guys here today. I wanted to jump in and share my best possible recommendations for leveling up your weapons even further. We talked about it on like day 2 of Modern Warfare 2, but this is a way more complete guide, way more in-depth offering, something much more comprehensive that I wanted to share with you guys. So that said, as we go along, drop your thoughts below. How many weapons do you have fully leveled? Any gold, any platinum, any polyatomic, or maybe even Orion? And if you're going for camos, are you ranking them up first and doing challenges as you go along, or you just ranking them up first and then doing challenges? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts below. But if you enjoy the video, you find it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to stay updated with all things Modern Warfare 2. We've got still a ton upcoming with Season 1 here. So if you'd like to join us on that road to 600,000 subscribers, if you're part of that 70% of viewers who are not subscribed, I'd love to have you in the community. But for now, let's discuss those best ways to rank up your weapons. So let's start out at a top level here once again. Firstly, I want to start by talking about the best modes. To me, Invasion was for sure and still is the best way that we have on offer. Now, fingers crossed this doesn't get patched or nerfed into the ground entirely with Season 1's update in a couple of days, but this still holds strong from the initial ranking tips. Nothing's really changed to this degree just yet, but definitely jump in sooner rather than later just in case they do end up nerfing it a little bit. But Invasion gives you different score yields based on what you do for your team in a various number of ways. Regular kills on other real players are 5 points, AI kills are 1 point, streaks and vehicle destroys are also 5 points. So for what it seemed though, those varying level of point distributions didn't really matter so much in the eyes of the XP earn rates as we mentioned in the initial video. It's still a really good choice to farm bots way off in the distance away from the action, and as such, it'll help you with that XP earn rate. And even if they are an air quote discounted earn rate for XP, it really doesn't matter because having AI in groups of 6, that's 6 free kills, which is a really nice boost no matter what. But as we'll mention in a few again in passing, I kind of feel like, and bear in mind without the ability to see individual XP kill rates like years prior, it's all gut feeling and a hunch, but I kind of feel like the game miscounts those bot kills so that once you hit your milestone kills of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and 30 plus, it gives you those bonus XP yields on top of that, perhaps even doubling when you hit those markers with regular players again. So double dipping into that bonus XP. But the goal of Invasion is potentially 2 things. Number 1, just go kill and farm bots. That can be a little bit mind numbing, but the other one is just to play it out. Get bot and regular kills. If you're just trying to farm, get attack insert and go behind enemy lines. The best locations I've found are on Guijaro. The preferred side that I would want is spawning near A flag. If you can set up your attack insert on the roof of church somewhere, you can look down at the courtyard below and get about 2 transport helos at a time. If you spawn church side though, that's still not bad. You can set up your attack insert to the left side buildings of the A museum and get into the action there. Santa Senya, I'd prefer the east side spawns so that I can go off to the far right side of the map and set up shop in one of the warehouses off there. Transport helos will land right in that sort of like parking and loading dock area on that side street. But also oppositely, you can absolutely get work done working the rooftops of D flag if the spawns are on the other side. Tons of AI drop in and around there most of the game. So Reef Bay, for me, I think I'd prefer the A side that you can then spawn trap enemies with ease if you have the right squad. Though oppositely, you totally are able to farm AI in the back of E spawn. I just set up my tack inserts somewhere around the water if you do that, out of sight but close enough to the action. To rock, I would say avoid Dune side, that's just way too open, but near the river there are a few transport helo locations that you can set up your tack insert and farm enemies on either spawn point you have. And then Saeed, this one's probably my least favorite for just trying to farm bot kills, but in regards to actual kills, this is the best one if you want to play that hybrid system, get regular and bot kills. But depending on how you do this, where you set up shop, if you go for just bot kills or you play that hybrid system, you can get anywhere from 5 to 10 to sometimes even more levels per game. Now granted, you're going to want to have a double XP token, and we'll talk about that in a second later on down the line. That double XP is insanely important in this game so far, but with each match lasting around 10 to 15 minutes, you can max out a weapon in like a half hour sometimes, so you really can't beat this method. Ground War, it's again better XP yields by comparison from initial testing. It still seems like every 3 kills in regular 6v6 is equivalent to 1 in Ground War. So if you can play that high action, you can end up getting kills in Ground War. Absolutely go there if you don't want to do the mind-numbing nature of Invasion. But beyond that, Kill Confirmed, I would absolutely say, is the best 6v6 mode to play here with this. If you don't like Invasion, you don't like Ground War. For this, I'd run the perk package of Double Time, Extra Tactical, Resupply, and Ghost, though admittedly your ultimate perk is a little bit more inconsequential as opposed to the others, just simply because it really doesn't help with your tactical use, which is what you want. But the tactical you want to use is a decoy grenade, because with Modern Warfare 2, for whatever reason, almost everything you do in-game affects your weapon XP rates if it is the weapon in hand. So for this, you're going to be throwing decoy grenades, getting those decoy assists, but also you're going to want to capture as many tags as possible. Play that objective because every single tag will then also contribute to your weapon XP if it's what you're running around with. So it's something that really just starts to compound and gets that weapon XP going really quickly. So those are the best 3 modes that I would recommend, though things to know about the weapon progression overall is that, again, so far, everything this year seems to count towards that weapon you have in hand. Kills, assists, captures, defends, equipment assist, streak kills, possibly even grenade kills. So we'll touch on building a class here in just a second, but you want to maximize it by using everything you possibly can to get sort of residual XP, residual points here that can help you out tremendously. So for those streaks, talking about creating a class, streaking feels massively important overall. I'm not talking about like getting your VTOL or getting kills with that, but I'm talking like kills in general. Like we mentioned, it feels as if the AI are counting towards your streak despite not actually. And while I haven't been able to pin it down for certain, that would make sense because you get much larger lump sum of XP for things like your bloodthirsty medals, your merciless, your relentless, and streaks that go on in those increments of 5 up until 30, and then everything after 30 is an additional unstoppable medal XP yield rate. So that's something that streaking absolutely helps. I got 2 MGBs by just farming regular players and bots, which, fun fact, bots do still count towards your kill streaks for whatever reason here in Modern Warfare 2. So I want to say it's like 3 or 4 count for 1. I actually did get an MGB shooting an actual bot, so that's something to consider. But it seemed like in those matches in particular where I was incredibly streaking, I was getting a lot more XP than if I was going on like 3 kill streaks and dying. For kill streaks or score streaks, it's absolutely something that I would play with stuff that you have available that can get you, again, that residual score. VTOLs were great. It ended up getting me a ton of kills. They're incredibly powerful in this game. Things like your sentry gun very much so help as well. If you end up getting a Wheelson, you can put it into sentry mode and it will get you kills without even having to really do anything. So again, all of those kills kicking back XP to that weapon you have in hand. Now, as for classes to maximize your yield, for things like Invasion, you want to of course have that weapon you're ranking up. For me, I ran the tacticals of Stim because sometimes those bots can be pesky, especially when they get armored. That's something that they will shoot back, and if you're in a pinch situation, you don't want to have to hide behind a corner or potentially die if you don't have your tac insert ready. So getting that health back instantly is incredibly useful. Lethal, use whatever you want. I did Semtexes. Your perk package, you can work with a couple. The main one that I did though was Double Time, Extra Tactical, Resupply, and Ghost. Ghost being the actual key important part here with this, because that is something that allows you to end up staying off the radar. If you use that tac insert and you're just behind enemy lines farming bots, somebody won't end up coming back and looking for you and hunting you down. So that's incredibly helpful. And then of course the tac insert for the invasion method is probably the most important. You want to make sure that you're always farming bots and you're out of the action in that regard. This will allow you to just go and farm bots off in some corner of the enemy lines and be entirely unbothered, or at least for the most part. If someone finds you, odds are they may try and hunt you down, so you still won't be 100% safe, but for the most part, most of the lobby won't know you exist. Now, alternatively, in Invasion, if you don't necessarily so much mind showing up on the UAV perhaps, you can end up changing your perk package to have your ultimate perk be overclock, so you end up getting that tac insert even faster. That increases the charge rate by 40%, so you do get it significantly faster, and therefore it keeps you potentially behind enemy lines and near those bot spawns longer and in a more safe manner, but that's entirely up to you. For ground war and regular gameplay, the perk packages really come down to whatever you want to use. I personally enjoyed running Resupply, Extra Tactical, and like High Alert or Quick Fix. Focus is also a great bonus perk as well to mitigate flinch, but again, comes down to entirely what you want. But perhaps the biggest and most important thing here out of this weapon rank up guide is unfortunately something that might not be available to everyone, but that's double XP. Now, I don't want to make any accusations because I truly have no idea how we could accurately test this, which comes back to that I wish we had actual numbers available for XP that displayed like we did in Modern Warfare 2019, where we could actually test this and it's not just based off of feeling. But honestly, double XP kind of felt like a normal double XP rate and what it should be. But when compared to the base, I don't feel like it's actually double the base. I feel like if double XP is actually 200%, that regular XP is like 50%. So by comparison, that's not a doubling of that XP yield rate. I feel like without double XP, it still is slower than where it should be. Like, it doesn't seem like an equal, just simple 2 times bonus here on that. So if you ended up getting that Vault Edition, you should by now have 10 hours of double XP to work with. That is truly an insane amount of help. I personally ended up getting some double XP codes from Mountain Dew and stuff like that, so that helped me out tremendously. But honestly, if you do these invasion methods, you do that. I think that I probably did all of my weapons within like 10 to 12 hours of double XP time. You know, it was probably like actually 15 hours or so. I want to say that I had like 12 hours before my 10 hours from the Vault Edition ended up coming through. So that leaving me now with 7 hours left. It was around that 22 hours total that I had just using 15. So, I mean, you can absolutely breeze through some of these if you use these methods, but it is going to be dependent on some variables like what kind of mode you get in Invasion, what kind of matches there, and also if you have double XP available. But beyond that, there's not really a whole ton that can be said, I guess. One final tip that I would have for specific weapons, because they're just a total pain to end up ranking up, is the launchers. The Javelin is one that you kind of can't get away from, or rather the Joker, but when you look at the Pila, you look at the Strela, and you look at the RPG, those are just kind of your straight up projectile rockets. What I'd recommend for that is going to the Transport Helos, the one with the open back, the sort of Blackhawk design. Catch those as they're about to land and drop off the AI in Invasion, because they end up having 6 AI in there, but they end up counting again as a sort of multi-kill plus a bonus if you fire that rocket directly into that helicopter. Not only that, but it will then instantaneously send it out of the map and then queue up another round for respawn. So you can kind of just farm clearing out these helos, and I was getting about a level almost every single time I'd take out one of these helos in that full 6-man category. Maybe sometimes it would take 2, but seriously, they expedited that process incredibly fast. The Joker, I'd probably just say go up into a helo in ground war and fire down. If you're at that height limit, the Javelin will just go straight down as a regular projectile rocket, but with a lock-on still, instead of having to go up and then come down, giving you that sort of 10 seconds of, oh man, I really hope the enemy doesn't move. So try that out. Those are probably my best ways to rank up those. But beyond that, just know it gets tedious. It is something that's a grind. There is no way around that. Unfortunately, with trying to rank up every single weapon, you have to realize it's a monumental task. So you're not going to be able to do this all in just one day marathoning it. It's going to take some time, but you can absolutely mitigate some of that super tedious aspect of it and hopefully shave off a handful of hours in total time by comparison to if you weren't using these methods. So for that, that's what we're going to call it. Hopefully this was a little bit more insightful and offered a little bit more in-depth information as opposed to our initial day 1 or day 2 strategy guide that we put here up with it. And of course, now having every single weapon maxed out, I feel like I understand what I'm talking about here more so rather than just general tips and some initial feeling testing. So that said, let me know your thoughts down below. Are you guys liking these tips? Do you have any weapons fully ranked up? How close are you to having every weapon ranked up? Hopefully these tips can help you out though, so let me know your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare 2. We've got a lot upcoming with Season 1 here, so make sure you stick it here on the channel. I'd love to have you in the community. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.